Aloha once again, friends and family. Welcome back to the reading of Ascension, the shift to the fifth dimension. Greetings. We are the Arcturian Council. We are pleased to connect with all of you. It is encouraging, to say the least, to see how wonderfully you are making the transition from knowing yourselves as the egoic beings that you have always known yourselves as, to the expressions of your higher selves that you have always known you would become in this lifetime. We are monitoring the progress of this transition, and it varies from individual to individual, of course, but in all the progress is something to be excited about and something to take pride in. Your levels of awareness increase every day, and your capacity to love and show compassion for each other is also increasing. So the full embodiment of your higher self's consciousness then comes down to a choice. It is a choice that you make when you are faced with the dilemma in your lives, and when you allow the higher perspective to dominate. You are making the choice in that moment to be your higher self. When you make a decision based upon something rather outdated, such as a desire to survive, you are clinging to the egoic way. It is important to see the bigger picture, and that is precisely what the higher self does. So when you pull back from the scenario that you are facing in your life, and you see how it can serve you and all others involved, you take on that higher consciousness, and you let go of what the ego often clings to. Now, as you discover that this process of ascension includes the ascension of the ego, that's when you recognize that all parts of you have value and have been of service, but you are activating the perspective of the higher self, and you are downloading the consciousness of the higher self, and the progress that we see in so many of you is quite impressive. This is the perfect time for you all to lay down your resentments and let go of your grudges, and to come clean with those in your life that you need to forgive. This is a time of letting go of that which is heavy, that which is old, and that which no longer serves you, because you are always letting in that which is of a high frequency, that which does serve you, and that which takes you to the next step of your journey. In letting go of the dense, polarizing, third-dimensional ways, you allow yourselves to take on the fifth-dimensional perspective. And the more you hold the fifth-dimensional perspective, the more you vibrate in harmony with those energies, the energies that are creating the new Earth. Our sense of what is happening on planet Earth right now is that more and more humans are waking up to the knowing that nothing is gained by drawing a line in the sand and putting all of the bad ones on the other side of that line. It is time for compassion, which means it is time for understanding. It is a time for allowing others to have their perspectives, no matter how different they are from your own. Now, if you are waiting for the people who run the governments to initiate this change and start working together, you are going to be waiting for a very long time. If instead you recognize that all change comes from within, then you will stop taking sides and start taking on the fifth dimensional perspective. The perspective that shows you that all circumstances on planet Earth right now are in some way of service to the evolution of humanity. Therefore, starting in your own personal life, you can begin the process of bringing together polarized elements. You can start by seeing the beauty in everything that you've experienced and by letting go of that resentment that you've been holding on to. When that weight is lifted, more fifth dimensional energy comes in and you can get to experience yourself as a lighter version of you. You have been gathering your resources together for a major leap forward in your evolution. You have been connecting to more of your oversoul and downloading more of the skills and abilities from all of your various incarnations. And you have been doing so because you need more of who you are to make this next leap forward in your evolution. This one is about changing completely your concept of who you are. This is about letting go of the notion that you are somehow limited by what you have experienced in this one lifetime. If you think of who you are in terms of only that which you have done, thought, said, and believed in this one lifetime, then you are selling yourself short by a very big margin. To shift your concept of self, you have downloaded more of the memories from other lifetimes, and you have imbued your consciousness with a greater sense of connection to the all, to everything in existence. Now when you are able to handle the information that you have downloaded, you will receive it, but it is more important for you to feel it, to know that it is there, ready, and willing to support you in the shifting of your consciousness to the shifting of your concept of self. Once you see yourself as having done and been everything, you will relax a bit. You will recognize that you don't need to accomplish anything in this lifetime to prove yourself. Whatever it is you seek to do and have not yet achieved, we can assure you, you have already done it. Everything that you see someone else doing that triggers you and that causes you to judge that person, we assure you, you have already done it yourself. There is nothing to fear and there is nothing to judge because it has already happened in some incarnations of yours. And when you make that realization, you can let go of so much and you can just enjoy the life that you have carved out for yourself in this incarnation. And you can shift your consciousness to a new understanding, one that is without limitation. We have been waiting for the right moment to fill you in on something, and this is that perfect moment as far as we can tell. You have exceeded the number of traumas that you signed up for as a human, and as a result of what you have taken on, you are creating more than what you originally set out to create for yourselves. You see, there is always a positive outcome, no matter what it is that you are experiencing. And so every single trauma that you have experienced individually and as a collective has been building a new and better world for you to experience. Every single one of you knew before you incarnated that you would take on a certain amount of trauma in order to then know what you wanted to create. But what has astounded us and all of the other watchers and witnesses is how much trauma you were willing to experience in your many lifetimes on planet Earth. The energy that has been summoned as a result of all the trauma is now being downloaded and is being utilized to create a new Earth in the new fifth dimensional universe. You have all done this together. Sometimes you had to team up so that one of you could play the victim and the other could play the perpetrator. And then you would both die and switch roles, and you called it karma. But the effect of all the trauma has been tremendously positive, and what you are downloading now is the energy you have summoned, the energy that is so fresh and new and carrying such a high frequency that there's nothing left for you to do. You can sit back or lie back and lick your wounds, because what you have done in every instance of every trauma is to add to the creative force that would bring about the new Earth. And once you feel ready, willing, and worthy to receive it, the new Earth is yours to inherit. You have awakened within you a sense of belonging to this particular journey that you are on. And that awakening has given you the power and the strength to endure a tremendous amount of discord on planet Earth and in your personal lives. You incarnated in this lifetime to make this particular journey, and those of you who are awakened are making the journey consciously and deliberately, knowing that you are creating an entirely new Earth and an entirely new universe in the fifth dimension. Now, when you first become aware that you were shifting, that was in fact a calling. That was coming to you from your guides. Your guides set it up so that you would hear about the shift and nudge you towards the information about it. And then they let go of control so that you all could decide for yourselves what this shift meant for you and how you were going to navigate through it. There is a sense among many of you that you are ready and that you want that final push to come no matter how much it costs you as a human collective. That sort of desperation is coming from the amount of suffering that you see, that you feel, and that you hear about. But that degree of desperation does not serve you, because you really do want a shift that is easy. You really want to be on a timeline where you experience a gradual evolution of consciousness within yourself and within all others around you. That is the transition that most of you are choosing, and that is the one with the least amount of catastrophe and trauma. So it is time for you to take ownership of the shift you are creating and to stop looking for predictions about what is going to happen next to spur it on. It is your light and your love that is at the heart of the shift in consciousness. And that is as you intended it to be before you incarnated. Never give up on what you came here to do, and you will achieve the shift in consciousness in this lifetime. This is an opportune time for you to look at everything that you value in your life, because you are on the verge of some very big changes. You want to be sure that you have your priorities in order when the changes come. It is very important for you to know what you stand for, what you believe in, and what your abilities are. Many of you are reaching for new abilities and overlooking the abilities that you have. And when it comes to your beliefs, you are often focusing on the ones you want to change, rather than the ones that serve you. When you are clear about what it is that makes you tick, what is important to you, and what you are hoping for in your lives, you will be able to make assessments. You will be able to determine whether your actions are in harmony or opposition to what you prioritize, what you value, what you believe in, and what you believe you are capable of. We want you to be prepared to build from the changes that are coming, and it is important for you to know what it is you want and what it is you have to contribute as you look to create a new world. As we have said, you are able to shift timelines more easily than ever. And with those shifts come the changes that we are talking about. And when change is upon you, it is important for you to know where your priorities lie. It will also be very important for each of you to value yourselves. If you don't know what your strengths are, ask someone who loves you. Oftentimes you overlook your strengths and abilities because they are so second nature to you. But we promise you, every single one of you has something important and special to offer in the creation of New Earth. We have aligned ourselves with the best possible outcomes for humanity, and we suggest that you join us in aligning with those timelines. From where we vibrate, fear is not possible. It is a part of our distant past, like a faint memory. But for humanity, fear is not only a very common experience, it is also a tool. You are often given reasons to feel fear by individuals and groups who want to control you. Just because the fear-based probabilities exist for humanity doesn't mean that you have to give them any of your attention or energy. You can join us in our laser-like focus on the probabilities that are most humanity friendly. We hold that knowing for you. We hold space for all of you so that you can find the vibration of the timeline you want to be on, and so that you can maintain that vibration long enough to see it come to fruition. We are happy to report to you that the timelines that we are focused on, where humanity has an easy and even joyous shift in consciousness, are receiving more attention from those of you who are awakened. We see the numbers increasing every day, the numbers of individuals who are determined to maintain that focus, to not give in to fear, and to let your hearts guide you to the most enjoyable ascension experience possible. You can feel empowered by this process of evolution, or you can feel that it is outside of your control. You can feel afraid of some of the probabilities that you hear about, or you can use them to inspire you to focus with more certainty and more intensity on what you want to experience and what you want for all of humanity. You can also feel for our support in bringing you to that timeline. We have begun to explore the possibility that you have taken on more than you can handle. We are quite certain that the human race is performing a series of Herculean tasks in your movement forward in your ascension. You have already overcome so many eons of programming. There have already been so many positive outcomes from your willingness to endure, and now we are wondering if you have shouldered too many burdens for this galaxy. You see, you are not just reintegrating all of the various aspects of yourselves from previous lifetimes, but you are also helping the entire galaxy to release itself from karma that beings outside of your solar system created. That is a great deal to take on, and even though it was the intention before you all incarnated at this time to take care of it for the rest of the galaxy, we are entertaining the idea that it's possible to lift that task from off of humanity's shoulders. Even though many of you were incarnated in those other parts of the galaxy where that karma was created, it is still a lot to ask of one planet and one dominant species on that planet. So you can expect to receive some help in some form. Perhaps we will buffer the energies a bit more. Perhaps your guides will get involved in releasing you from this task of clearing galactic karma. Perhaps beings from other parts of the galaxy and other star systems will agree to take on some of the burden themselves. Everyone is interested and excited about seeing humanity succeed, and so we are helping as best as we can. We are coming up with ideas, strategies, and contingency plans to ensure that everyone who wants to shift on planet Earth will make that transition and will do so in this lifetime. We are working for you and with you, and so are many other beings, physical and non-physical. So you can relax and feel for a weight being lifted off of your shoulders at any time. We are certain that those of you who are awakened on planet Earth at this time have done more than your fair share of the heavy lifting. It has been quite a journey for some of you who have incarnated to be awakened at this time of the shift. You have chosen to be leaders in the movement of energy, and this has led you to experience less than ideal third-dimensional lives. In other words, you needed a reason to want to go within yourselves, to want to experience something more than what the physical planet had to offer. And so you sought refuge in meditation, and you sought to heal yourselves through spiritual practices. You sought out connection with other beings, including those from other parts of the galaxy. And this has all served you in that pre-incarnational quest to be on the front lines of the shift. If you had decided instead to incarnate into perfect lives with lots of love, abundance, direction, friends, and everything else that you traditionally would want for a lifetime, you would not have taken the steps that you've taken to be more than what your physical expression could bring you. You also faced certain challenges in your lives so that you could access pain, trauma, and negative emotions. Now, why would you do this? Why would this part of that spiritual evolution that you sought before incarnating? I'm going to reread that question. Why would this be a part of that spiritual evolution that you sought before incarnating? It is through the experience of what you would call negative or unwanted that you are summoning more energy, that you are moving more energy, and that you are becoming more focused. You want to be fifth dimensional creator beings who operate with vibration, and that is what you are becoming. It is through connecting with yourselves that you have been able to access the vibrations that you access. And it is through accessing those vibrations that you become very adept at creating your reality. The first step is always in creating yourselves. And as you create the fifth dimensional version of yourself, you put yourself on a timeline for a smooth transition to the fifth dimension, where you will have all of the tools necessary to help others along their way as well. We are particularly excited to express to you the transmission that we have for you at this moment. We are able to detect within the energy fields of each human being on planet Earth the presence of a new technology. Now, technology in this case refers to something organic and natural, not a chip or an implant, so you can relax. This technology is the upgrade that will enable you all to see interdimensionally. This means that you are getting yourselves ready to complete your shift. When you can see interdimensionally, you are able to exist in one dimension and know what is happening in another dimension. You have this ability now, but few of you, very, very few, have activated your use of it. There are a few very advanced beings on your planet, as you know, who are not now about by the media, and who are doing a wonderful job of holding the frequency of the fifth dimension for all of you. I'm going to reread that. There are very few advanced beings on your planet, as you know, who are not known about by the media, and who are doing a wonderful job of holding the frequency of the fifth dimension for all of you. These are beings who live in the mountains of South America. That is as much information as we can give you, and they are capable of seeing interdimensionally now. They will continue to test out this new technology for humanity until you are ready to use it, and not all of you will be ready in the same moment. Most individuals will wait until after the shift has been completed, but some of you lucky ones will be able to use it now. You lucky ones who are receiving this message know who you are, and you know that you exist in a fifth dimensional frequency state. You know when you are holding that frequency, and you know that you can still see what is happening in the fourth dimension. The fourth dimension includes the third, second, and first. And so anyone who is existing at a fifth dimensional frequency range or higher is capable of seeing all of you and being aware of what is happening on planet Earth. Earth is holding a fifth dimensional frequency. She is one of the ones who can still see all of you. And she makes herself available to all of you who are holding a fourth dimensional frequency. Now all of this will become clearer and easier to follow and understand when you complete your shift. In the meantime, those of you who can utilize this technology to play in the fifth dimension and still be part of the rest of the human collective, you have what you need. We have given you some of our wisdom, but we have also learned from watching you what it is that makes humanity so strong and so unique. You have an ability to persevere, to take on extreme challenges, and to not only survive experiences, but you actually use them to your advantage and to the advancement of your consciousness. We marvel at the way that you are able to move energy, to rally around each other, and to bring forth the best of who you are in the worst of circumstances. We are continually amazed by humanity, and that is why we are so certain that you are making this shift in consciousness in your lifetimes. Your completion of the shift is really only dependent on what you, who are awakened, are capable of doing for yourselves and for the collective. When you demonstrate how powerful you are and how compassionate you are, you solidify the movement of energy to the fifth dimensional frequency range. You help this process along by listening to your guidance, by being dedicated to serving others, and by living your lives. You develop more compassion for each other when you are genuine with what you are feeling, when you can authentically express what is going on for you internally. You help all others around you by giving them permission to feel what they are feeling. You are awakening aspects of you now that are coming to assist in this process of your evolution and your ascension. You are awakening aspects of you who have attempted to make this shift in previous lifetimes and have failed. Those aspects are responsible for the doubts that you sometimes feel. They are responsible for many of the emotions that you still need to process. They are even responsible at times for the foreboding feeling that the world is coming to an end, or at the very least, is at the brink of another world war. These are the aspects of you that require the most compassion, acceptance, and unconditional love. They are also awakening at this time to help you navigate through the energies because they have been in this position before. So you see, once again, you take something that is challenging and traumatic and you use it for your benefit. This is one of the many things that we love about you. We have observed that many of you are creating the timelines for yourselves that are ideal from your perspective. And we can see you moving closer and closer to these timelines. This is the perfect timing to be engaged in such creative work because you are supported by the energies that are upon you. You are more supported in creating something new at this time than you are in creating something rehashed, ideal, and third-dimensional existence. In other words, you are moving forward, not backwards. So in order for you to align with the energies that are moving you forward, you must be willing to go to places you have not gone before. We are talking about vibration here. We are talking about getting out of your heads and into the vibrational field you want to be in. Your heads are capable of telling you about all the wonderful things that you have seen here on planet Earth in all of your lifetimes. And you can conjure up a pretty good experience for yourselves through what you have seen, what you have done, what you have heard about. But what will absolutely knock your socks off is the unknown that you are creating. To create with vibration takes you beyond everything that you've experienced thus far in the physical and everything that you've ever wanted to experience as well. Now the fifth dimensional energies that are upon you are nudging you in this direction. They are attempting to free you from the limitations of your minds and to nudge you into the unknown field of yet to be experienced vibration. And then all you have to do is surrender to the process, because you could not possibly imagine how you were going to come to the timeline that you're creating. You cannot imagine because it's something that you haven't experienced and you haven't heard about yet. Soon enough, however, you are going to start to hear about experiences that others are having, unexplainable experiences, experiences that go beyond imagination, beyond thought. This is what we see you all reaching for as you construct your ideal version of the fifth dimension and you continue to inch your way towards it. There is no doubt that you are making the transition to the fifth dimension. There is only speculation on your part and on the parts of all of us as to when that will occur. You are facing the challenges that you have placed before yourselves with a strength that few of us who are watching you could have imagined. And we are very pleased with your progress. However, we have noticed that you have a tendency to be very hard on yourselves. You have a tendency to believe that you should be further along than you are, that you should be able to manifest anything that you desire in your reality by now. You have a tendency to wonder whether you are going to make it, whether you are going to complete your ascension process in this lifetime. We understand where these doubts come from. You are programmed to believe in something outside of yourselves, more than you are encouraged to seek out the strength within you and the knowing within you of how wonderful you are, how perfect you are, and how adept you are at handling the challenges you face. We see you from the perspective of very loving teachers and helpers, and therefore we see your successes more clearly than you do, and we are aware of how much progress you make every time you face one of the challenges in your life. We want you to know how sacred you are, how valuable you are, and we want to help you to activate within you the codes for your experience of the divinity within you. There are divinity codes that exist inside each and every one of you, and they are waiting to be activated so that you may understand fully and embrace fully your divine nature, your divine origins, and the truth that you are source energy beings. Once you begin to feel that and live it, your divinity will be undeniable. You will not be able to ignore the divinity within you. You will not be able to suppress it, and to the contrary, you will embrace yourselves as divine beings. You will see every obstacle that has ever been placed in front of you as a means to an end. The end, the very important end, is to arrive at the place where you are able to recognize yourselves as the divine beings who were able to access everything that you needed in order to move you forward on your journey. Most importantly, however, you are meant to recognize the divinity that exists within you, even when you are faced with your challenges, the ones that cause you the most pain and suffering. When you can see the divinity within you in your darkest moments, that's when you know that you have achieved what you came here to achieve. Ascension will just be an afterthought. It is wonderful to acknowledge yourselves for all of the wonderful movement forward you have made. You have journeyed so far in one lifetime that you all deserve to be rewarded for your achievements. We sometimes marvel at how much you overcome and how much you persevere. The fact that all of you are still on planet Earth is a testament to your strengths and power. We are here to tell you that things are going to get easier. We often hear you asking, when will this be over? When will I be free from this situation? Or when will the shift be completed? And we want to encourage you to create your own experiences of all of this. One of the ways that you make the journey more enjoyable is by looking for things around you that are going right, that are working out, and that have the ability to put a smile on your face. You all deserve to take breaks from all of the hard ascension work that you've been doing. We want all of you to rest and recuperate as often as you can. Most of all, we encourage you to be present. It is in your being present that all of this happens more quickly, more efficiently, and more enjoyably. You get to determine your own path from this point forward. When you decide that you want to be of service to the collective, you are. When you realize that you can be of service to the collective and enjoy your journey, that's when you are really on to something. So we encourage you to congratulate yourselves for having made it this far, to acknowledge yourselves for still being on planet Earth and enduring all that you have to endure with these shifting energies, and we want you to relax. We suggest that you allow the energies of the shift to do what they do while you enjoy more sunsets, while you take more time for yourselves, and while you spend more time with your loved ones. Let those of us who are here to help you, help give you what you need while you take on less responsibility and see yourselves more as experiencers of the shift than those who are responsible for making it happen. We are pleased to announce to all of you that the portions of your consciousness that have remained asleep throughout your awakening are getting their wake-up call. The emergence of certain energies in your solar system have triggered an activation within you that makes it impossible for any part of you to remain asleep. What we mean by asleep is operating under the third dimensional framework, the egoic relationship to reality. Now, as you add dimensionality to your experiences by including more aspects of who you are, you become your higher self. This awakening that you are experiencing now is the final step in what is required of you to complete the Ascension journey. The portions of your consciousness that have remained asleep are the ones who have clung to the old ways of doing things out of a need for consistency. That consistency has been the devil that you know. Consistency sometimes gives you that impression of safety and security. But what lies ahead for you is so much greater than mere survival, and enough of you has awakened, enough portions of your consciousness to allow you to dream bigger and feel for something more than what you believe was the ultimate human experience. Now that you are able to conceptualize something bigger and better, you can throw away the need for security and safety and exchange them for freedom and adventure. Now, you won't be sacrificing security to do this. You just won't be clinging to it as you have been. You will allow for the unexpected and the unknown to be a part of your travels. And as you integrate these portions of your consciousness, you are also going to recognize that they bring something new to the party. You are unlocking more of your wisdom through this integration process, and you are allowing more of the ideas from your higher mind to float into your conscious awareness, giving you more access to the codes that are necessary for you to inhabit a fifth dimensional light body. This is a very exciting time for humanity, as you consciously let go of those primal needs that you once thought were so important, and you embrace your infinite and eternal nature instead. You are going to have quite a delicious ride ahead of you. We are pleased to give you a progress report that you are going to enjoy receiving. The human collective consciousness is approaching a tipping point that, when reached, will bring you past any possibility of putting yourselves in a very difficult or unfortunate situation regarding your planet and your ascension. There have been many possibilities for all of you to shift in a rather messy way, but as you continue to seek out the comfort that comes from connecting within yourselves, you eliminate any need for humanity to create a rockier road for yourselves. There are many opportunities for you to exercise your free will in releasing that which has been holding you back as individuals, and we see so many of you making the choice that serves you most. So many of you are exercising that free will to go within and seek out the comfort that you need to experience from opening your hearts. You have been given opportunities to blame, to ignore, and to numb yourselves, and the vast majority of you are not making these choices. Each time each one of you as an individual makes a choice to go within and seek that comfort from within your hearts, You add momentum to the shift of the collective consciousness, and you move yourselves down a timeline that does not include catastrophe, natural disasters, or large-scale war. You also move yourselves further and further away from needing an intervention from some of your physical extraterrestrial friends. Everyone who has your greatest and highest good at heart is applauding the nearing of this tipping point. We are all doing what we can to assist you in making those decisions that serve your greatest and highest good. But it always comes down to you, and it always comes down to choice. The choices that you are making are having a very positive impact on the shift of the collective consciousness. In the awakening process, you usually encounter some resistance from outside of you. This may come from friends or family members. It may be that you are leaving behind a faith, and those who still believe in that particular faith are upset. Whoever it is that is resisting your awakening process, they are doing so because you asked them to before you incarnated. You wanted to have a voice of dissent in your circle because you need that in order to solidify what you are moving towards. Sometimes you need someone else to resist you so that you can dig in your heels and be absolutely certain that you are moving in the right direction for you. You don't have to take anyone with you on your journey, but many of you want to bring your friends and family members along because it can be a lonely ride. You can find yourselves wanting to connect with other individuals who know what you know, and it may be challenging for you to locate those individuals, especially if you live in a small town. Again, the process of awakening as an individual is something that you can choose to do in spite of the opposition, even though it would be easier for you just to remain as you were before your awakening, and it would be easier to fit in. You must be certain that you are on the right path for you. If it were easy to believe what you believe because it was some sort of trend, then it would also be easy for you to abandon it. The sacrifices that you make to be different are necessary for you to be certain that you are following something that is coming from within you, something undeniable. Your awakening can be messy and challenging, and can leave you feeling alone, rejected, and abandoned. But what you gain in the process is so worth it. You gain more of yourself. You gain a deeper connection to Source, to the universe, and to all the other beings who are awakened within it. You create a network that spans the globe, creating a grid of energy so that others may join you when they are ready. We are providing you with insights that we hope resonate with you, but we invite you to reach your own conclusions when it comes to your personal experiences. You can take what we say with a grain of salt, especially if it does not match with what you are experiencing at the present moment. We speak to as many of you as we can, but certainly some of you are having much different experiences, and we honor that. We invite you to do the same. That being said, we have a new message for you, a new transmission that we hope resonates with the vast majority of you. You are living in a solar system that has taken itself to a brand new frequency range. You are reaching higher and higher vibrational states as a solar system. It is not just Earth that is ascending. It is not just humanity. All the planets, moons, and suns are also ascending. And that means that the way that you've experienced the other celestial bodies is shifting. You cannot count on Venus to be the same Venus now as it was 20, 30, or 40 years ago. You cannot ask for Jupiter to stop evolving. And what you receive from your relationship to these other celestial bodies is becoming more and more significant to your personal journeys. You may wish to have a more intuitive response to what is happening when Mercury is in retrograde, for example. When any of your planets in your solar system are in retrograde, you might want to consider that your experience of that is shifting. These planets are shifting. The Earth is shifting, and you are shifting as well. So rely on your personal experience in your personal relationship to these celestial bodies, rather than on what you have learned they are all about. The history of the solar system has very little to do with where you are going. Expect new relationships with the celestial bodies around you, and expect to find life in your solar systems on planets and on moons as you awaken your awareness to these other beings and as you allow for the shift to have its effect on not only the Earth, but on all the other celestial bodies as well. We have begun to explore different possibilities that are facing humanity at this time. We are looking down different timelines and seeing what is in store for you as a collective if you decide to traverse those timelines. And we are here to inform you that there is one particular timeline that looks very enticing from our perspective. So we are just going to suggest that you pursue the timeline in which you feel the emotions deep inside of you to the point where you come to a tipping point in the degree to which you feel compassion for one another. On this particular timeline, that compassion leads to the forgiveness that is also a necessary part of your evolution and your ascension. And so you see, when you take that approach to life, you are not reliant on governments making big announcements about aliens and UFOs, criminals and large organizations that you might call a cabal or Illuminati being brought to justice, even though they will. And your futures are not dependent upon the big oil companies granting you access to free energy. Your ascension is not dependent upon a redistribution of wealth, a revaluing of currency. It is not dependent upon ETs landing in their ships, disarming all of your weapons, and bringing you to some sort of moment where you gather together as a collective. It is all in your hands. If you choose the timeline that involves your ascending your deepest and darkest emotions, so that you can feel compassion for anyone and everyone that you come into contact with, you can make this ascension process easy and even enjoyable. All of those other eventualities that we have mentioned can only occur when you recognize that none of those individuals whether they be your nemesis or your heroes, are separate from you. None of them are outside of you. And when you wake up to this knowing, you can live in the world that you want to live in. But as long as you deny these aspects of yourself, exist, and you deny the pain that comes with that acknowledgement, you will delay that inevitable moment of ascension. That is why we are suggesting that you feel into the timeline and that you choose it for yourself as an individual, taking as many willing participants with you as you can. We are the Arcturian Council, and we have enjoyed connecting with you.